Keeps his bishop. Look at all the tactics here.
So rook f2 here, rook e1 check. You could play rook f1, but then the rook.
Gives his bishop. Look at all the tactics here.
But black has nothing. Gukesh diving into this rook, trying to generate counterplay. The rook moves over to the side. Rook to a3, hitting a2, bishop d5. Everything is defended. Wei Yi is winning.
And the rook trade was unacceptable for black. That's why he keeps his rook on d7. The white king is in the line of fire, so white is winning. That's clear. But you need to be careful not to fall into any forks or checks.
Absolutely. The king moves away from the pin. Now knight f5 is coming. This is still a little bit unpleasant, but rook e6 check. Knight f5, rook e6 is going to win. 1 second for Gukesh.
And now here comes
Oh,
the
what a move!
You can't take it because it's pinned.
King f5, bishop e6, and that's the clincher. That's the clincher.
Oh, and you see it on Gukesh. He's broken, and he shakes Wei Yi's hand. Wei Yi is the 2024 Tata Steel Masters champion, but for Gukesh, he came oh so close, and yet it was Wei Yi who wins the crown. That trophy is his, but you have to feel for the teenager. Gukesh.
Parham has his hand on the king. No! He blunders with king at 7. What a tragedy here. The king is now too far away, and if white simply moves his king to c4, threatening bishop d7, then it's trouble, because there was one way. If king was on f8, you could go f6, gf6 and start pushing your g pawn down the board. But this is not going to happen with your king on h7. It's not ideally placed. Also the f pawn can run then. So king g7, he comes back, but this is a loss of a crucial tempo. And now Nodirbek just puts his bishop on d7. He's threatening to queen. There could be a perpetual check is what Parham is banking on, but actually there is none, because after queen, king b3, the checks are very few, and so here he plays queen b7 check, king goes to c2, and in fact you have run out of all checks. He still goes queen a6, but it's time to make a queen for Nodirbek Abdusattorov. He makes a queen and now has 2 extra pieces on the board. Wow, what a game this is. The c pawn which Nodirbek had created by sacrificing his queen finally gets him great dividends. It's like you invest in the right things and you get big returns. Queen takes e4, and now Nodirbek finds a very nice way to finish it. A queen sacrifice. If you take it, there's knight f6 check fork, and the shake of hands. Nodirbek has won, and with this, he not only wins the game, but also becomes the champion of the tournaments. And Gukesh can actually repeat now with check. I think he should do it, but Gukesh finds a very straightforward way to hold the game. It's a double attack. With this, he attacks this pawn on a5 and also the bishop on h5. Hikaru pushes his pawn to a6. Gukesh quickly comes back. He has 14 minutes left on the clock. Hikaru has 24 minutes. Fabi and Nepo's game is getting crazy. Fabi is winning actually. So Hikaru, now Gukesh takes the bishop on h5 with his rook. Very interesting, because if you were to play a7, then rook a5 back is the move. Oh, he's going to go a7 it seems. Yes, he plays it. a7 is on the board. Gukesh goes back. Now, if you take here, king takes d2, then after king g7, the position is drawn. So he goes check. Gukesh brings his king into the center of the board, and Hikaru now makes a queen. He makes a queen on the board, and Yan Nepomniachtchi comes back behind Gukesh to now realize that this game is an absolute draw, because now pawn comes to e3. Exactly, a rook versus bishop in itself is a draw. So here you even have an extra pawn as black as far as ahead on the third rank. So after rook a4, cutting the king off here, you will see that Gukesh just moves his king, and it's important not to touch the bishop, because now if the white king starts to get active along with the rook, then black just has e2, e1 in 2 moves. He's going to queen, so there's nothing much left here. King c5 played by Gukesh, and Hikaru, being the pragmatic player that he is, goes to rook e4 and now just takes the pawn. You can see Pragnananda in the background. Bishop takes, and it's the historic moment. The game ends in a draw, and Gukesh keeps his sole lead intact. Later in the day, the game between Yan and Fabiano ended in a draw, which meant that this became the most crucial game of Gukesh's career. With this victory, he's made it to the World Championship match against Dingleren, which is a huge result for Indian chess. Gukesh becomes the second ever player after Vishy Anand, second ever Indian to play the World Championship match now later in November. But also Gukesh is the youngest ever to win the candidates at the age of 17, surpassing the achievement of Garry Kasparov at the age of 20. And who knows, if he wins the World Championship match in November, he will become the youngest world champion.
And that just sets the table that if Magnus loses this Armageddon battle, he might lose the Norway chess title along the way.
Nerves are creeping in here, the clock is ticking down, inaccuracy is starting to appear. Magnus is eyeing up that weakness we talked about on c7, but there was a discovered check available. He didn't go for it, he didn't jump with the white knight. Watch out, the black king feeling really uneasy, and Fabi's playing with fire.
I feel like you almost fell out of your chair there after rook to e7. You weren't on camera, but you're feeling uneasy, although Fabi pointing out that, okay, you got a discovered check, and then what? I'm actually fascinated by it. This is great content.
Looks like checkmate. I mean,
yeah, does he just want to push f5? So if the knight goes to, let's say, f4 check, he will push f5 and say you don't have any attack. Is that it?
You're right, Anna, he'll have to, but f5's an ugly move to have to play. Magnus jumps in with his knight. Fabi only has one move to avoid instant checkmate. He needs to block with his own knight with a check. There we go,
wow.
Knight's disappearing. Look at the center of the board now, suddenly. It's a discovered check, Fabi blocks.
Fabi saw all of this. He's responding instantly, down to 35 seconds to 1:10 for Magnus. But Fabi in a better spot to draw than he was before in a queen ending that could get perpetual check for Magnus.
Wow, it's deja vu. Magnus ground down Fabi in a queen endgame earlier in the tournament, but the blue arrow appears. Only one move to keep it. Magnus is going to win a pawn. He'll be a pawn up, but black has a passed b pawn. If Fabi finds this move, he might well just draw.
He has to speed up. He's going to flag if he doesn't.
He doesn't find the move. He plays the obvious and human check. Apparently it's not enough. Magnus picking up pawns, although I'm also scared if I'm Magnus, because that b pawn is running, and if you check the black king forever, it's just a draw.
Now the d-pawn, this is why Fabi needed to put his queen on d3 earlier. He would have gained a tempo in the process. He's allowed the white pawn to run as well. White's d-pawn, one step closer than black's b-pawn to promotion.
Oh, this is really such deja vu for what you mentioned, David. Fabiano already went down in a queen endgame earlier in classical chess. And this is happening now in Armageddon. Fabi is a couple of moves behind.
Oh, I think he's looking at the clock. He's got 5 seconds. He's got 4 seconds. He's gonna flag. He's got to move. He's got 2 seconds. Oh, and he knows it. Queen e7 check, and here comes d7. He's run out of time, and Magnus Carlsen, the king of Armageddon, does it again, winning on demand and securing that he will at least tie for first here at 2024 Norway Chess. And Hikaru Nakamura needs to win in classical to force a tiebreaker.
This is not the start you'd want if you're Faruja, but Engine says not so bad.
Yeah, d4, nice move by Hikaru, sacking upon knight b5 here, and h check, and like
it's terrible.
Something. Yeah, this looks
awful.
Right?
There was a trick there, h3, knight takes e5 and queen a5 check, but Hikaru saw right through that.
Alright, knight e3 by Faruja. What do you do here? It's gotta be winning for Hikaru. Take an f1, and then what? Why is this brilliant?
Well, I think queen e5.
Okay, still not over. Wait, Faruja very much. Wait, there goes the bishop! Is Faruja gonna clinch it?
Rook f8! That's incredible. It was his worst position. How does Ali Reza survive it? And we shouldn't speak yet. It's not over.
But his king is so solid on e8, and now he's going after the white king, and Hikaru just resigns?
Wow.
No king g7.
No king g7?
Game continues.
Okay, so we were thinking about rook to d2, and the
King f1 only move.
king f1 with the idea,
But he played it with this intention, so I don't see how he played anything else.
with the intention of meeting knight e2. Your knight was likely to go back, and then we can evacuate the rook. But okay, no harm, no foul, because after rook d2, king f1, we could also play rook check and invite the same repetition.
So why deny one repetition into the other?
I think the king actually goes to e2 in that case.
Of course.
I see no downside to playing king e2.
No, agreed. King f1 very quickly played.
Honestly, with the I mean, it doesn't really shake the equilibrium in any way, but
You just like the king on f1 and
yeah.
bishop on e2.
Because if you imagine us, let's say, playing rook d1, check king e2, and then rook, I don't know, a1, and white playing bishop b5, you have to start on every move worrying about blundering f4, bishop b8, and I just don't see how we are, the side playing for a win here. But then again,
I think it's just inevitable that there's going to be a repetition somehow with
somewhere,
b1 and a draw inevitable. But I kind of hear you that you sit there, you go, okay, f4, if your knight gets kicked to h6, probably that's still okay.
Probably still okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I will keep an eye on this, but we have Christian with
knight d5 and bishop e3. And like I was just to interrupt you for 1 second, this one finally finished in a draw, and you're looking now at your 2024 Singfield Cup champion.
This is looking so busted for that black king. Notice how all of Jan's pieces are so far away from getting to the defense. That e5 pawn stopping any piece to arrive on f6. Jan looking away. He's disgusted with the position on the board. How do you even defend this for the next few moves?
You don't. I think it's that simple. We see the shaking of the head. He's down under 4 minutes now. Jan upon the sheet might just try to go down in flames here. Simply nothing to do. You don't want to get checkmated, of course. You don't want to be remembered for a checkmate in the final of a big event like this, but it's inevitable. It's too late. He castled into the firing line. No way back.
He literally castled into getting checkmated. You know, you castled to get your king to safety, but this was the most unsafe position for the king. Jan knows it, Magnus knows it. These are the last few moments of the Champions Chess Tour finals.
Magnus, he has so many ways to cash in, to break through towards that Black King, which is devoid of defenders.
I was just
ringing out again.
They're like, yo, resign, bro! Like, this is hilarious. It's great to have the live audience, too. It's amazing. But, yeah, I mean, it's just clearly over here. Nothing. And Black has no pieces really developed on the back rank. I mean, you have the Bishop. Okay, you have you have Knight and Bishop on E7 are developed, but it's really it. It's nothing else. How do you stop this attack? You just don't. Bishop takes A6 is coming. You can try Knight takes E3. That's fine. I go Queen takes, and maybe a Queen B3, trying to trade the queens off.
Do you think he's going to resign?
I think he might be tempted. He's fighting every urge in his body to resign, Jan Nepomniachtchi. If this weren't the final game, I think we might have already seen a handshake and Jan moving on.
It's 2.5 minutes. He does make a move, takes that bishop, will be recaptured by the queen. The rook is lining up next. Jan trying to break free with that move F5. You could bring the rook into the attack. Rook G3, F4 is guarded, G7 under fire, 8-6 under fire, Jan's king under fire.
That's a resi on the spot. Rook F7, Queen H2. That's the resi, Kurt. Yikes. Brilliant. Very quick game.
It's coming. The white queen now captures a pawn. There's a pin here. He defends with all his might, all of his remaining strength in the finals here. Jan Nepomniachtchi, he's got the big square covered.
Is Knight G5 on? We sack the queen. Knight takes C6. No, not yet.
It's coming in next. He simply sidesteps. There's no attack on the queen. Knight G5.
And it's a handshake. Magnus Carlsen wins the 2024 Champions Chess Tour Finals.
Exactly. He cannot believe. Yeah, he cannot believe himself, but he sees that he's winning. He is drinking the water. Absolutely correct. Very professional. Because he knows if it's winning, it's winning. He just needs to calm down to be able to correctly assess everything. And Ding, I think he has... Look at this. He has realized what happened.
Should I show why the pawn endgame is winning? Do we just sit here and soak in the moment?
Let's just wait. Yeah,
Yes.
let's just wait. Yeah.
Yes. We cannot miss history being made.
Exactly, and it's a heartbreaking moment for Ding to lose the World Championship crown like this. It's unimaginable.
He's done so much, made so much progress psychologically, emotionally. He's demonstrated his best self as recently as the game before last, but he will succumb. And the head nod, you know what the head nod means. It means he sees the path forward. Peter, there is no doubt that he's going to capture this rook. He will not miss this opportunity, not after this much work. There it is.
Yeah, the nerves. Total collapse by Dingler, and yeah, he captures the bishop, nothing else to be done. But it's a lost pawn endgame.
Even the arbiter cannot take his eyes away from the board. No one can, other than Gukesh, it seems. But his eyes are still on the board. His brain is on the board. This is unbelievable. The final moments before a new world champion is crowned, he will resign in this position.
Unbelievable. Yeah, just we see that what the pressure does to a player. Yeah, it's just keeping the tension, and his nerves couldn't take it, and yeah, he just collapses. Heartbreaking.
It's a heroic effort for the reigning world champion. There was speculation he wouldn't show up to the match. No, he did. He put on his best game. He came so close. And King E3 will be played, but King E5 followed by F4 in the event of King D3 is a well-known victory. That's it. Heartbreak and euphoria all rolled into one scene.
And look at this, Gukesh cannot believe. Yeah, he was smiling a little bit. He's trying to push away this, but he will be the youngest world champion. Incredible what we are about to witness.
And he's earned it. Not a single part of this smile has anything to do with wallowing, with enjoying the anguish of his opponent. He deserves a smile. He has done so much work. He has come so far. The 18-year-old has demonstrated the skills of a champion, the play of a champion, and the composure of a champion. And he's going to defeat a very worthy opponent. a sip of water from Ding as he begins to come to terms with the disaster that struck in this final game. What a moment, Peter. Words can't capture the significance of this moment, and there it is. One dynasty ends and a new one begins. And after weeks of unspeakable hard work, the emotions spill out. How symbolic. Gukesh sets up the pieces like he always does, win or lose.
Don't pray, it's okay.
Finally, stoic Gukesh shows us the emotion he's been bottling up inside. What an incredible result. And look at that, he's so unbelievably thankful to even be able to take part in emotion like this. He's so humble, he's so grateful for this moment, and it really shows. There isn't a shred of arrogance there. Absolutely nothing, like you said, Danya, wallowing in the defeat of his opponent. There's nothing of the sort. This guy is so wholesome. Yeah, wow. I feel like the images speak for themselves, man.